Can you imagine being the most fearful in the family? Well, that's why I told you to imagine. The thing is that one day, out of nowhere, a poor boy was doing cornered by some dogs, but his sisters are very rude. Well, after that, count the years pass, and this is how we see the protagonist all grow together with his friends, who ask him about his sisters, what friends he has. Now, he was back home, and when he opened the door, his sister received him in a strange way. The thing is that they are very attentive in case they cook for him, fix his clothes, and many other things. Who wouldn't want a sister like that? The thing is that we found out later that the protagonist's parents went on a trip. Although, for the moment, we are not interested. Yes, it's important that the protagonist wants to attend the same school as his sisters. He is from another school, and the next day the protagonist goes straight to school, but the sisters among the garbage find a note which is very important. The important that they existed at the main character school, but well, how to explain this to you? Because all the boys from the main character's school are in love with their sisters. And that's how, since this is always angry the protagonist, because all the mess is caused by his sisters. Unfortunately, he kicks them out of school, but later he realized that they had a good intention, and it was to attend a meeting of the main character. Well, it doesn't matter, since they end up leaving from school. In the afternoon, we will meet the father of the protagonist, who is crazy, since he hints that the protagonist's sisters are from different mothers. Now, it's not only has he revealed that, but also, possibly, some of these sisters will marry the protagonist. They pass, and this is how the protagonist tries to study to belong to the school of his sisters. But I forgot to tell you that this is not smart. The thing is that his sisters try to make him study in many ways. Well, the next day, they put everything to the test, worried, but seeing that they had to make a effort day before studying. He gets a good grade, but his friends come, who keep asking him about his sisters. Well, in theory, they will be unknown, but there is nothing left to say. Sisters. Later, in the afternoon, he continues studying since he reminds that his purpose is to enter to his sister's school. But for some reason, one of the sisters takes the lead, but the protagonist is a real hunk. Well, this will be a war for the protagonist between the sisters. Here is our protagonist, Suminoe Keito, as the boy who for some reason is already engaged with his sisters, which are Ako and Riko. Both are crazy, who feel things for the main character, so to speak, capable of anything for him. Now, after everything that happened, the protagonist is angry since the sisters are constantly walking in fights for him. Well, at first glance, it's uncomfortable. She helps the protagonist with his homework and cares very nicely. That is, she's perfect. On the other hand, Riko is the opposite in the kitchen, and she is getting angry every time. But this is a girl who fights, and that is how she ambushes first. She puts several pillows with a trap, so when Ako climbs on, she falls off, and on the other hand, she spends more time with the protagonist. The things are that they both walk together until of nowhere. Oh, it hurt even me. Now we are shown scenes where the sisters go to their school, and in place they have a talk where they reveal that they feel things for the protagonist, being his brother. For some reason, there was a teacher who listened to everything. is possibly, I think. So well, see what happens. In the afternoon, both sisters back home and go through the protagonist's school, this remembering their childhood, and in the same way, signing in love. Hold on, are you telling me that you're not subscribed to my channel? I give you 3 seconds to subscribe, comment, and leave your like and activate the bell. Now let's continue. So they go to a sanctuary that for some reason the main character also attended. The thing is that they pray that everything goes well. I see why he prays if nothing goes well for him. Now you will say why he has a hand on his face, and it turns out that he had a problem with a girl and well, he is powerless. In addition, she slapped him tremendously. Well, since the sister began to feel jealous in the same way to speculate about things, but one afternoon they go to the main character's school to investigate and well, at that moment, terror was almost discovered since in reality the protagonist met again with the girl who slapped him. And seeing that their sisters were approaching, they locked themselves together, but to hide although the bad things about all this is that they actually end up locked up. But don't worry, because they don't give up and go out a window. But due to the problems that the protagonist had with her, because she gets even advise people never take a fight to a girl. Now well, the protagonists go to a bookstore, manga, and animes magazine. What they didn't expect was to meet the teacher. The thing is that she began to give a talk about what to mess with her brother are bad and all that. The girls were on the defensive saying love has nothing to do with it. And so they fought until a point where the protagonist and the teacher left together and calmed down because nothing happens. We only found out that the teacher has a little sister that by chance is in love with the protagonist, and well, now the police scene is coming where the teacher follows him since she's scared that they will do something bad. The things that the sister ended up giving realized that they were being followed, and that is how they devise a plan that ends up getting the teacher wet. Now they are going to a festival, but here the problem is that the sister wants the protagonist for themselves, and that's how they fight for this. Now days later, we found out that Kaito falls sick, and worst of all is that a few days will be the admission test from the school of his sisters. In other words, for the simple fact of being sick, can lose the only thing that he longs for in his life, to be in the school of his sisters. Calm down, guys, because our protagonist recovered for the big day. The protagonist says, I'm going to my destination and I'm going to win. The things that are going to be all encouraged to take the test. He takes the test and finished, but it didn't turn out well, with the protagonist sad return home, although later someone knocks out the door. Exactly the girl with green hair, which she mentions that his exam had been admitted. That's it. In a few words, he's already at the sister school, and it turns out that it was all a mistake for a puppy. Have you ever wanted to wake up for a dream? Well, I guess in the case is that you couldn't due to the dream, but in the case of our main character, he can't, because he has his 2 sisters on top of him. Hold on, don't think badly, because nothing happens. The fact is that these 2 girls are scared at night. That's why they sleep with the older brother. Well, these 2 love our main character so much, so that they kiss him good morning. The fact is that the mother of the 2 girls calls them, and in the kitchen, one of them tells her mother that kiss her brother. So the mother tells her that she's crazy and she should continue doing it. Now that she stops, there is an explanation for this, and it's that it turns out that he is a blood brother with the girls, but only stepbrothers. Therefore, it could be said that he can do whatever he wants. The fact is that the father of the protagonist is so crazy that he asked Akko and Rico to make his son fall in love, and the one who does, he will marry him. We will see later to Keita running to go to school when he out of nowhere he ends up hitting the door of truth. Yes, he had to hurt, but here Keito begins to hallucinate with his sisters, but he gets up when he sees that he is late for school, and when he arrives, his classmates tell him there is a surprise exam to which he is stupid. But in the same way, his friends ask him which school he will go to when he finishes high school. So he tells them that he doesn't know and asks his friends what they will choose. So they'll tell him they want to be in the same school as his sister, and their greatest wish is that his sister punish them. Later at Keito's house, he talks to Rico, who wanted to declare. For this, Akko enters, which ends up throwing her out. In the same way, she tells Keito not to accept to the other sister. He looks, if you don't understand me, because in summary both sisters seeks to make love to our protagonist and marry him, therefore are revolves. So this already. In the morning, Akko was preparing breakfast for Keito when, out of nowhere, he comes to Rico, who tells him not to the front in the same way, was about to prepare a breakfast. But she endures that one thing led to another and they end up hitting each other. For this, the parent scolded them for the first time. On the other hand, at school, our protagonist was claimed since he was not with his sisters. When out of nowhere his sister appeared and bring him his lunch. The boys in the room, they began to flirt with his sisters. Home since he's not here, but he stand up to everyone in the room. For this, his sister tell him, "I love you," in front of everyone. And this is where Keito is shocked, and the only thing he say is to get out of there. And this is how the sisters live. For this, the girls in the classroom starts to speak of Keito, which he sent them to hell, and runs for his sisters and close by them, tells them to excuse him for that reaction. In the same way, the sisters hug him and kiss, but Rico pushes Akko. The next day, Akko's mother and Rico ends up asking Keito how come his daughters declare themselves in the same way. He tells her to accept one of these. All weird, and worst of all is that in the neighborhood the mothers miss to bet on who Keito will stay with. Meanwhile, Keito at the school, he was walking and his friends stopped him from going to visit to his sisters, to which Keito, all tired and begins to hit the folder with his arms, which he ends up breaking his wrist. Already at his sister's house, as the sisters always finish it bothering so much, so that they end up complicating the wrist. But well, the months passed and the problem of the doll was solved, so that his sisters took him to a karaoke dress of Santa Claus, and well, here the sisters took advantage a lot. I think especially Akko, since she put alcohol in the drinks and then Keito fell towards her. They ended up kissing, and already in the afternoon our protagonist, together with his sister, doesn't remember anything else. He only tells them that thanks exactly for taking him, and this stresses him to which Ako here opens her mouth and says what happened, and Rico ends up chasing her for taking advantage of her boy. And after Kaito, he is with his sisters to distress. They go to the hot springs. In the same way, at night, Eiko falls asleep, and this time Rico takes advantage of it and ends up kissing Kaito in the balcony. In the same way to both as they gain more confidence. And well, here had memories that comes exactly for his biological mother, who ended up separating from his father. In the same way, Kaito since that day didn't stop crying, where he always went to his sisters to comfort him. That explains the reason for his good love already. The next day, the father and the mother of our protagonist are very flirtatious as true husbands. So Ako and Rico thinks that they will have a child. Yes, and at school, the sister tell their brother, so he tells them that he doesn't see that it's possible for that to happen. And if it happens, there is nothing wrong, and that's it. With that, the little sisters calm down. In the same way, they want to kiss our boy, but he didn't want it, and at night, Kaito is with his sister and they start to study when out of nowhere room of his parents hear a strange thing, to which our protagonists decide to leave the place for the night. Shame, and well, it's all a misunderstanding, since the father was giving massage to his wife. The next day, the weather was very ugly because it didn't stop raining. In the same way, Kaito went to school, and when he left, he ran into a sister of one of his teachers. The fact is that the girl is in love with him, since she tells him that sharing an umbrella makes him in love with her. But everything changed when a car drenched them. This forced Kaito to go to the girl's house until the rain stops, and the girl takes him to her room in the same way. He attends in the best way, and well, here the girl declares herself, but Kaito rejects her. For this, our boy's teacher arrives, and it turns out that the little blonde had not warned his older sister that the protagonist was in her house. Therefore, the teacher thinks the worst is like this, how our boy hides under the bed and goes unnoticed. So at the end, our boy's teacher finds him and beats him. Now, for this is not here, since the teacher at night in her room promised to kill Kaito. She thinks that he is a bad, perverted person. And the next day, she visits Kaito's house, hoping to talk to his father, which our boy tells her that he's not in the house. And after a few minutes, parents arrive. So the teacher tells them that his son is strange and to be careful with his sister, to which the parents take it very normal and leave the teacher in shock, since for her it's obviously something strange and bad. The fact is that seeing that the protagonist's parents are very crazy. So then the teacher leaves and our boy takes her to the whereabouts. For this, the little sisters appear, who tell the protagonist that if he is now in love with the teacher, and well, our boy says no. But when the teacher goes, another expression is shown, giving us understand that she has feelings for her student. And the next day, Rico goes to school, since she has an important meeting. With Kaito together with Ako stay at home, now free. Ako asks him for a date, and the first thing they do is go buy ice cream, but they get bored quickly, and due to the heat they return home, and here they eat ice cream and have a good time. And at night Rico comes home with a green face, since she did badly, and she ends up fighting with Akko. And already the next day, to take away the bad temper, she said to our boy give a kiss to her, what he, as a good boy, gives to her with pride. And at night, Kato's father asks his son who he is with the two sisters will stay to him, to which he doesn't respond due to the shame that he has. But well, the days passed and we see that both girls got together to cook for our protagonist what he is a tremendous happy banquet. And then the girls began to drink with our protagonist, to which as always Akko and Rico start to fight. And well, very intelligent, Rico ends up giving Akko a bottle of alcohol to drink, who falls asleep to the ground. And in the afternoon, Kato talks to his father. Our boy tells him that he doesn't know who to choose. So the father tells him that he has a lot of time to be with one of them. And well, here, there were the little sisters who came out and say, choose me. And that's how this story ends. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to leave the like and subscribe. Bye!